don't know if I necessarily like the rapper when he had that rapper. I mean,
I didn't like him as much. Like they could have done it once every 50 songs.
But he had a badass band. That big fat ass dude drumming.
Yeah.
And anybody, is it Mavis Staples?
Yep.
When she sang "Nothing Compares to You."
Yep.
And he had Levi on the guitar with the cards. Remember, he was practicing and he had a deck of cards and he was playing. And Prince goes, "Yeah, that's nice, but think about it. If you do that here, you got to do that in every song in concert." And he goes, "Okay." And that was the deal on that. Welcome to Tales of the Gemini podcast. Man, ladies and gentlemen, I seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I can honestly say this guy right here, one of my best, I can't say one of my best friends ever. It was 2006. I was in LA struggling and I had enough. I was in Indianapolis. I was at my boy's house and he goes, "Hey man, listen. You always come to Indianapolis anyway, no matter where you're at, in Michigan or in whatever, and we kick it, then you go to your gig. Why don't you just move here?" And I kept saying, no, man, no. And then finally, man, you said that, and I go, yeah, why not? And then the ball started rolling, and people go, "Why did you pick Indianapolis to move to from LA?" And I go, it was my best friend. I said, and that was the reason I moved here. And I ain't gonna lie, man, I've regretted it ever since. But man, I'm so glad I left.
Well, speaking of regret.
So it's my friend, my man, Mr. Ronn with 2 N's Davis.
Yeah, what's up, man? Yeah, definitely 2 N's. So anyway, what you probably never knew, just behind the scenes stuff, is I wanted you to move here so I can get you to fuck off my couch because you was coming here all the time, sleeping on my couch. And I was like, man, how can I get this motherfucker off my couch? Hey, I'm going to talk him into moving here. He had his own place, and he was coming in and using up all my toilet paper and all my soap and eating up all my food.
I was the original fuck your couch. I was the original fuck your couch.
Sure. You know, let me tell you, here's a couple things that pissed me off about you moving here. A few things.
I can't wait to hear. Please tell me.
First of all, this is I'm gonna make this statement, but there's a much deeper conversation, and we may or may not get to it. But,
no, let's get to it now.
Well, not now, because it's too deep.
No, let's get deep. Let's get deep now. Let's jump in the deep end. I don't need no shallow end. Fuck a shallow end.
Okay, look. First of all, I see you less now that you live here than I ever did.
That's true.
Okay, so fuck you once for that.
Okay.
Fuck you.
Okay.
2,
I'm gonna come back with that.
Fuck you twice because when you used to come stay with me, you were Mr. Meat Eating motherfucker and you used to eat up every fucking thing. Now you're vegan or vegetarian and you eat little dainty shit like a little bitch. And you come over now and go, "Hey man, I got some extra shit, man. I just barbecue." You want some? "Nah, man, I'm good, man. I don't want nothing." I'm like, motherfucker, you used to eat up all my shit. Now you don't eat nothing.
I ate those strawberries last week.
But those are strawberries we were trying to get rid of, so I was glad you did.
Yeah, but then you looked at me like I was crazy. It was like, 8 strawberries. And 8 jumbo strawberries with chocolate on them. Romantic shit. But you said, "Hey man," you said your words exactly. "Hey man, you want to eat up all these strawberries?" I go, "Yeah." And I ate, because you tell me to eat something, I'm going to eat it unless it's meat. And I ate up all the strawberries. And then you looked at me like, this motherfucker ate up all my strawberries.
No, I only looked at you like that because my other buddy that was there wanted some.
But he didn't say shit. He's a grown-ass man.
I agree. I wasn't that upset about it. You know what I mean?
But you look like you were.
Well, I wasn't, though. Don't try to. Hey, man, I think our sound is still going outside.
Because people look at us like, hey, these guys are arguing. I should call the local authority.
All right. So anyway, man, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me on.
I mean, you're my dude.
Hey, man.
But that's why we can do this. We can say fuck you because we know at the end of the day, we might have our little falling out. At the end of the day, I always got your back. You still got mine. No matter, I mean, like I said, we went through periods of that. We went through periods. The first falling out we had was with the Nags Head, North Carolina. I was doing a gig. And you always said, "Hey, man, I want to go on the road with you. I want to go on the road with you." I said, "You know what? I'm doing this gig, this kind of resort or whatever on the ocean in the summertime. Come on, let's do it." And we went. And man, and I remember that was like a 11, 12-hour gig.
That was the biggest fuck up.
And on the way back, we didn't say one word to each other. And I just remember I had to be in Nebraska, I think, the next day. And I remember you getting out of the car maybe at 4 or 5 in the morning, and you go, "All right, man." And you got out and you shut the door. And
hey, man.
And I didn't talk to you for like 2 or 3 months after that.
Hey, listen. See, you make me forget so much shit.
Because you're getting old. That's
I remember on your first podcast that I happened to stumble up on because you didn't even fucking tell me that you were doing it. So anyway, I happened to stumble up on it, and you said, "Hey, listen, I'm not the smartest guy," and you went into a rant about how you're not the smartest guy, how you do dumb shit. Guy. So first of all, I know that first fucking hand, okay, and I agree 100%. But I remember the fuck up of the whole Nags Head trip was the first time I realized, this motherfucker is stupid.
You gotta say it like that.
Well, that's what I said.
Okay, but okay, here's
Just because, man, it was just a fuck up after another fuck up after another. Wasn't that the trip where they told you, once we got there, they told you couldn't have guests in the fucking thing?
Yeah, once we got there.
Yeah, but you should have known that. You should have asked about that.
No, because it's never been it was never a problem before. When I was at
a 12-hour fucking car drive.
When I was at gigs before, and you got to consider this before cell phones and all that shit. You literally had to get mail and all that shit. But I just remember, we ain't changed a bit. I just remember that gigs I played before, when the headliner bought somebody, nobody said shit. You know, like somebody like...
Maybe they just didn't like you.
No. When the headliner bought somebody that had somebody stay with them, you couldn't say shit. Headliners about girlfriends or wives or whatever, and you just dealt with it. But, you know... Now, granted, I wasn't a headliner, I was a feature, but still, and that motherfucker told on me, and it was like, it really wasn't a big deal because we didn't stay in there. We didn't get in his way, but he got pissy, and it made everything all...
Then we had to find another place for me
and
to
they
stay.
overcharged and shit, but
man.
I paid for that. I paid for that. Yes, I did. I felt bad, but I paid for that. But you know what I remember about the whole thing, though? Is that, yeah, we were pissed at each other, but I remember us going on the beach at night and we shot the gun in the air. Remember that?
Whose gun was it?
It's your gun. I don't have a gun. Yeah. You're trying to get me on a weapons violation, motherfucker. Hell yeah, we sure.
What are you, a felon? You can't have a gun?
Shut up. But no, but it was like
I took a gun across 4 state lines.
Yes, dummy. Because here's your dumb part. You're smart, but you're so smart that you're actually dumb in some aspects. Because I also remember when we were doing a gig in Michigan and you bought your gun and you didn't tell us. We were gonna go to Canada. And you go, listen, man, I got a gun, but it's registered. No big deal. And you go, let me show you something. And then you called your lawyer, and he was like, you can't do that shit. And he was like, huh? Because I remember you going, huh? And I was like, oh, shit. So we were going over the bridge to Canada, go to that strip club, and they go, you got any weapons to declare? And it was me, you, Spark, and Marvin, and everybody got quiet.
Marvin said, I don't have any weapons. Not me.
I just remember, we were the worst, like poker faces, like, gun. We like, whoa, why you say gun? And it was like, oh man, please don't anybody.
Hey.
And I don't think we said anything, and he let us go. But did they inspect the car?
No.
They didn't?
No.
Okay, that wasn't with you then.
No, I was there one time where they did pull us over, but I don't think I had my gun then.
Okay, but yeah, you said,
well, first of all, I could legally take my gun into Michigan. At the time, I didn't know we were going to go into Canada. So if I'd known, I wouldn't have brought it. We're in the car when we went to Canada.
Yeah,
I've learned a lot more about gun laws since then.
Yeah, thanks for telling us now.
We didn't get in jail. Yeah, but we didn't. First of all, y'all wouldn't have been in jail. I would have been, because I would have owned up. I would have said it's my gun.
They would have put us in jail anyway just for being with you.
Been.
Yeah, accessories. Accessories.
Hey, overall, I've had great road trips with you, man. For the most part.
For the most part, I mean, but that was just one of our falling out. What I thought was, but I just remember us shooting a gun on the beach. Cause I never had shot a gun before, and we shot it in the air. And I remember that was like our kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, okay.
Yeah, we still all right.
Yeah, we're still boys, but, you know, damn T, you fucked up, but okay, you know, and we just we had a little moment of bonding there, and then I remember doing that last show, and we got
I can think of another bonding moment we had there.
I can think of a lot of And I remember us leaving, but I remember I hated that dude. I remember it was Mike Ivory? I just remember him being like, really, dude? He's kind of being a bitch, because we weren't really like, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. Because I remember the guy who booked this was like, he's an old man, you know, he's this and that, so he didn't really like to. And I was like, really, old man? You know that old man just fucked one of your wait staff, right? remember that hot chick we saw him coming out the room with? We're like, I mean, I never in a million years, I go, Mike pulled that. Remember that shit?
I remember, bro.
Yeah.
After you reminded me. Hey, man, it's hot as hell in here.
Well, that's why we got the water, bro.
This is like a sauna in this.
Well, it's because, you know, we're stationed by that.
Damn.
Thing. Yeah. So, yeah. So I ruined your couches and everything. But I paid you back because you got my Netflix subscription. I think that makes up for it.
Yeah, for the most part.
Because I look at it and go, I'm not watching this. I mean, because it says, you know, continue watching. Go, I'm not watching this shit.
Hey, every time I use it, I go, good looking out, BT. That kind of knocks off one of the chicks I hooked you up with.
That and the Super 8 VIP card. What? When we went to Las Vegas.
Oh, don't get me started.
Let me tell you something. I mean, I've always been broke in this business, but whenever I had a chance to come up, I always invited you. Honestly. And so when I worked Las Vegas, was I working Las Vegas? It was one of those in between.
No,
I couldn't have been because why would I stay at a Super 8? But I had a Super 8 VIP card, and you couldn't have told me shit.
For reals.
I had a Super 8 VIP card. Super 8. This is how I'm living. I had a Super 8 VIP card, and it was a black card, and you couldn't have told me. I thought I was the shit, and I said, "Hey, dog, I got the VIP card for Super 8. Come on down to Vegas, and we gonna do this shit." And I just remember you came in, I picked you up, and I think you came in like at, I don't know, 6 or 7. We took a nap until like 10 o'clock, and then this is when we were still clubbing our clubbing days, and we got up and we went out. And that was, I don't know why we went to Vegas that weekend for some reason. I mean, because I met you there.
Yeah, I don't remember, man. It's too much time has gone by.
And now,
but I just remember how proud of that shit you were. Now back then, it was what it was. But looking back on it now, it's like, this motherfucker was hyped over a Super 8 VIP card.
You couldn't have told. I was like, I don't need no motherfucking Motel 6. I'm two numbers ahead. I'm VIP.
But you know what's funny though is really pretty much ever since then I realized, hey man, you could go to Vegas on a budget. Really,
you could ball on the budget.
Because you could easily, because we were one street over.
Yep, you were in Koval Lane. Koval Lane on the corner
where Tupac got shot.
Yep. Oh shit, that's right.
Was Flamingo and Koval.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Right there with Tupac. Tupac got shot right there on the corner.
Next to that 7-Eleven.
Yep, right there on the corner.
Oh, whoa,
shit. Yeah.
We were almost there.
Yeah, true. And
we could have been.
So now, man, when I go to Vegas, unless I catch a deal, a lot of times I'll stay off strip. You know,
it's easy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Last time we went, matter of fact, my girlfriend, or my wife, as I call her.
Oh my God,
oh my God, her boss has a condo right on that same street.
Okay,
right next to where we stayed actually, and so we stayed there, got to stay there for free, and we balled, man. It was beautiful.
It must have been in between because at the time when I had a good manager, remember I worked it's not even here's how fucked up they were. They lost their gambling license in Vegas.
Who did?
Remember the place that I used to do the Riviera, and it was another room I did. I did them back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
But I remember working in Riviera, and I was opening up for Tommy Davidson. I had you come up.
I remember that.
And we partied in Tommy Davidson's penthouse. Remember that?
I remember that because I brought the girl. I brought a chick that I was dating at the time. Remember, Kristen?
Oh my God!
And Tommy was all over.
Tommy was over because honest, and I'll say this from the bottom of my heart. Going out wise, when you went out, there was no hot. You've gone out with some hot chicks, and honestly, that is rubbed off on me in a way because you always had the hot chick going to a club, and you always said, "I want to be known as a dude with the hot chick." I should say something to this dude parked next to my motorcycle, but he's getting.
I got a feeling he's gonna hit your shit.
If he hits me, I swear I'm gonna leave his podcast right now.
Well,
anyway,
start the countdown.
But I remember though, she was the hottest chick ever to walk into a club, and she had these. She was about 6'2" in heels.
Yeah,
and she had these big natural, they
weren't natural.
These big fake titties. Yeah. And she had that jumpsuit. And she unzipped it just enough for you to see the cleavage. And I'm not
gonna, to show them titties.
And I'm not gonna lie, she was the hottest chick to walk into a club with. Everybody be like, "Who is that?"
She knew how to do it, man. She knew how to present herself. And when I look back at her, man, honestly, don't get me wrong, she was a good looking girl. But looking back at it, she wasn't the hottest, but she knew how to present herself to look like she was just the hottest. The thing was, I always said it, man. She was what I called a pro hoe.
Yes.
She always went after professional athletes.
Yep.
I don't know how I managed to get her.
But
I did.
Because you had the pro game.
Yeah, true that.
You had pro game. You always had great game more than me. I was a dude like, honestly, I had the muscles and you had the game.
Hey man, I used to always say this, man. I used to even say this to the chicks. I was like, "Oh, he's gonna hit your shit." Okay. You guys can't tell, man, but we're on a street. We see the street and BT. You're safe. You made it. Okay. So anyway, I used to always say this, man. You were all like ripped and shit.
I was about 220.
You were like ripped and shit, and you were an entertainer. Yeah. And I was just no homo shit, but you're not a bad looking dude, man. I mean,
you throw in the personality. I mean, granted.
Well, no throwing the personality because that's what fucks you up. But I used to always say to my girl, "How does he not get more pussy? How?" And my girl would say, "I don't understand it. Like, he's a good looking guy, da-da-da." And then she spend like 3 hours with you. She goes, "I know why he doesn't get any pussy." I go, "Exactly." I used to always say this. You remember this? I used to say,
"Yep,
you talk yourself out of more pussy."
I know.
Like the girls into you, we'd be at the club and she'd be like, "Hey, what's going on, blah, blah, blah." she'd be into you, and then I'll be like, BT, just shut up. The deal is closed.
Yeah, I know.
And you, hey, you want to watch me juggle? You want to see? Watch this. You want to see me do push-ups? Yeah. Well, meat, whatever. And then the girl be like, I just remember I gotta go water my grass. And it's like, God damn it, BT.
I know, man. But you know what? But you know about, you see me with the show high. Like if you catch me off stage after I just got through doing the show, I couldn't cut it off. I mean, I'm a little bit better now. A little bit better now, but it's still there. And I look back, especially in my 20s, and I mean, especially 20s and 30s, I know. Especially in my 20s and 30s, watching this girl right now in this short skirt, and she drops anyway. So yeah, especially in my 20s, man, it was like people always ask, is he on something? What's he on? And I never. And that's one thing I like about you. And the one thing, and I think we bonded over this, we were so much alike in the sense of
didn't do drugs.
We didn't do drugs. We didn't drink. We didn't. We never smoked marijuana. We never we were like quote unquote nerds, but,
squares.
Yeah, but we didn't need that to have fun. Nah. Like people, and honestly, and don't get me wrong, I'm not being a hypocrite. I've drank before, and I still drink. I mean, but it's once in a blue moon. But I don't need it to have a good time. It's like people who they feel like they have to get when they get to that they gotta get the drink.
Yeah.
And I go, I mean, you always wonder what's really going on in your life, because man, we've never really needed that. We always had fun. Honestly, I just remember hanging out with us, and I just remember my stomach hurting from us laughing at shit without having a drink, and us having a good time without having a drink, and we didn't need that shit.
I mean, think about it, man. I worked in bars for 30 years of my life.
Yes.
And never had a drink.
Yeah, well, it never crossed my mind when I walked in. Like, even to this day, I don't know what a liqueur is. To this day, I don't know what a liqueur. I don't know what any of that shit is. I never wanted to know.
I don't know dark liquors. People always say, I don't drink dark liquor. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means, because I don't care. I don't give a shit about it.
I don't care. Right,
I've never given a shit. But
I got two friends that people used to always ask me, are they high or what drugs they're on? You and Corey.
Was Corey on? Was it Corey?
No, Corey never did drugs. See, people swear Corey was a lot like you, and you know what I mean? He's super ADHD.
We're just hyped, man.
Which back then we didn't know what ADHD was.
We didn't. Back then we just dealt with life how we dealt with. I mean, we just have. Here's what I remember about you being in the bar, and this is the funniest thing ever. He was a cook. Ron was a cook at just a regular bar, and so I would go see him in the daytime, and I go see him. And he goes, hey, man, you want to go to the mall? I go, yeah. He was on duty. He was on the clock. He didn't clock out. We walked out the back. We went to the mall. We did stuff at the mall, like rap the chicks. We go to little kiosks. We go to bookstores. And we come back. And I swear to God, we came back one time. You got to the kitchen. They go, hey, Ron, you got an order. You go, thanks. And they never knew we were gone. Man, I to this day, I laugh at that. And you were still on the clock.
Yeah,
those were some of the best times ever, man.
I agree. Man, honestly, I'm going to say 25 to 30. I'm gonna say 40. 25 to 40 are my best years.
I was gonna get to that. Like, even though, granted,
25 to 40.
Mentally, it's different. We're in different places right now mentally, which is good and bad. But I hate people who always act like they don't want to confront their past. Like, oh God, I don't know who that person was. I mean, life is so much better now, and I want to go. Don't get me wrong. Mentally, yeah, I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but you can't do anything about it. But I'm with you. 25 to 40, dude. And I was living out of my car at some time.
Yeah.
You talk about living the fucking dream. Living out of my car, no address, and I had an answer machine, and I had to stop and I literally had a black book so I could get bookings. I had that 1-800 call collect or whatever that John Lithgow did, and I had to call that number to get bookings. And you call the bookers on a Tuesday after 3 or whatever when you're traveling. You had to find a rest stop or a payphone, which I think is obsolete now. Hold on, Wyatt. Do you know what a payphone is, Wyatt?
Yeah, where you put the money in, you gotta call.
Have you seen one?
In a movie.
You've not seen one live in person?
I can't recall.
Wyatt has never seen a pay. And we talked about that the other day, didn't we?
Crazy.
Yeah.
I can't recall.
He can't recall
Hey, man,
a payphone.
I think I said this to you the other night, but I've said it to other friends, is if you wanted to do a scavenger hunt, that would be a great thing to put on the list.
Yeah.
Is a payphone.
A payphone.
Because I don't know, I mean, I know a place right now where you can go find one, but other than, like, the city county building still has a whole line, a whole bank of them. But other than the city county building, I don't know where, I couldn't tell you right now where to go
For a payphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that.
They're usually in like a little, like a glass booth. There's usually,
That's a phone booth.
Yeah, like Superman had.
They-
there's still a payphone inside a lot of those, right?
No,
I don't
doubt
know.
it. I bet if you saw a booth, there probably is not a phone in it.
There was a glass booth right on Washington. I don't know if there's a payphone
I almost doubt
Wow. I mean that's going back in time, man. I mean, that's what's funny about it is that going back in time. I remember had to find a payphone. I mean, well, it wasn't really hard to find a payphone back then,
Yeah.
and you had to call, do that 100 and call and get bookings. But man, those were honestly, it didn't start getting to be like, okay, this ain't really fun anymore until about, I guess, 43, 42, 43. I mean, because
I saw it too, man. I saw the evolution coming, man. I saw it because I would go to see you at your shows, and it was like, okay, BT's still in this game, and then a couple times when I went to your shows, and I could tell you were just walking through the motions, man. And I was just like, wow,
because you know why? Because honestly, it's like this. It's like, I think when you're going, okay, like when I was in LA or whatever, I had goals to get here and there, so it was different. I was, like I was trying to get on TV, trying to get this and that, and then there comes a time when like it flatlines, and then you got to find. Like when Judy dropped me, I had a great manager who right now manages Whitney Cummings, Taylor Tomlinson, Sebastian Maniscalco. Yeah, she manages the big people, and she had me in the beginning. And I felt like, I was like, okay, I'm on my way. And when she dropped me, man, I just felt like I never got that back. And the mental from that was devastating. It's like your whole life, you've kind of dated, whatever. And all of a sudden you date Beyonce and she's into you and everything's going well. And out of nowhere, she goes, hey, it's over. And you go, what? And you're out there with the regular folk, and that's what it's like, man. It's like, fuck. And man, it was hard and then you got to realize, man, when you're doing that, you're basically doing gigs from gig to gig to gig. And don't get me wrong, I try to give every crowd, a good show, whatever. That was my intent going in. But sometimes, man, you're in the middle of fucking nowhere. And you're going, man, where the fuck is this shit going? And then some of those shows I'm sure were flat. And then I got a lifeline with Billy D when he did Sellout Comedy Tour, which I still think to this day was that reinvigorated me because it was something we've always talked about. And you kind of, in a way, were that way like me in a sense of, and this goes black and white. I mean, honestly, where people look at you like you're either from the hood or you're not. And there was never those in-between guys. There was never those black guys who could like rock and roll like me, who could whatever, like have a conversation, who didn't look at like, oh God, he's talking to somebody white or something. We never looked at somebody like that. We just talked and we were comfortable no matter where we were. Yeah. And we've done, and used to do lingerie shows. He was the MC of lingerie shows.
You ain't got to bring that up.
I'm bringing up your fact. But we go to those places back in the day where, I mean, you wouldn't think about setting foot. You wouldn't think about setting foot in. Even like they were cool. If you noticed, when your shows were over, they were kind of like, hey, thanks, bye, without saying it. And Confederate flag up. I mean, just the rednecks of the bars. And but we always felt comfortable, but we knew when to leave. And honestly, I remember that. And so there was never like you were either a hood dude or you weren't. And what Sellout did was it brought people like me or people like us into the fold, like, hey, man, we're black, man, we're proud to be black, but also we're well-rounded, you know what I mean? And I was called white boy growing up because I listened to rock and roll. Even you don't listen to rock and roll, so it's kind of funny. You kind of give me shit on that, but it's always fun, playful shit. But at the same time, and Sellout gave me, that was my avenue, I felt. All four of us together, 4 comics together, talking about how, we call sellouts because we weren't black enough.
I always call that crossover brothers.
Oh my God, I love that.
Crossover brothers.
I might do, you know what? I might do that too with Talk to the Guys because we're thinking about getting the group back together again, honestly. But yeah, crossover. And it was crossover without trying to be crossover. But I will say this though, I was a trembling bitch when I had to go to all black crowds. I ain't gonna lie. I honestly, if I knew I was working an all black show or open up for like a black act like Eddie Griffin or Monique, I'm not gonna lie, I'd get a little anxiety, like,
as you should.
If I
Don't touch me.
I knew it. Honestly, that's why when I did BET for the first time and I blew the spot, I'm not going to lie, I had a great set on BET. And I remember the first person I called was you. I go, man, I blew the spot. Remember that? Yeah. I did BET. I called you up and you're like, really? Yeah, I blew the spot, man. I had a great set. I was like, I can do this. I can do black crowds. But then, I'd do another one and I would just eat a dick. And I remember, but I would be like, and I have anxiety. Like when you book a
heart palpitation.
When you book, seriously, when I booked the black show, urban show, it's called urban now. When I booked the black show, I'd have this like that feeling in your stomach that you know is coming, like something that you regret. Like when your mama said, "You're gonna get a whooping when I get home from work," and you knew it was coming.
You was looking at the clock. Like, I hope she got to do overtime.
If she gets off at 5 o'clock, you know she was home at 5:15. So at 4:45, you a trembling bitch. That's how I was every time I booked a black show. It could have been
bubble guts and shit.
Oh my god! And if it was a young black show, like even back in the day, if it was like an all black college, like I was supposed to do LSU one time. It was supposed to be an afternoon show for like these fraternities, and man, I got nothing for them, bro. It was like Michael Spinks fighting Mike Tyson back then. I got nothing for these motherfuckers, man. And I remember I fucked up and I thought it was the next day, and it was that day because I got a phone call at 2 o'clock saying, "BT, where were you?" I go, "Huh? Yeah, the gig was at, where were you?" I go, "I missed it." He go, "Yes." And I was like, thank God. And in a way, I was like, thank God. And colleges pay a mint. And back then I was broken. I would have been big Dick Daddy Dog on that gig. And I was like, I missed it. Oh,
but you would have burnt. You would have went down in a
oh my
fiery
God. I would have
flame.
been shot down. I'd have been like a kamikaze. Like,
Hey, that always reminded me of the story Spark told me where I forget where he was. We did the show, and the guy goes. He said the guy saw him outside of the gig at the supermarket and was like, "Hey man, you that comic man? I saw you earlier. You wasn't funny. Hey dude, you wasn't funny." And he's like, "Hey man, come here, bro. It's that comic I was telling you about. Hey dude, you wasn't funny." I laughed at that all the time.
Black crowds would do you that way, and when you bomb from a black crowd, it's the worst feeling in the world because it's just that neck. And let's keep going for BT. You get that. Man, I remember like open up for Eddie Griffith at Dayton, man, and I remember just like nothing. I mean, this dude in the back goes, "Talk about something we can relate to." And because I was talking about NASCAR and shit, I was like, yeah. I just remember, funniest thing I ever said, I remember I was talking to my buddy Kevin Bozeman. I go, "Man, how come black crowds don't like me?" And he goes, "Because you talk about Pearl Jam, that's why."
They couldn't relate, man.
So, and then I don't know where, but I said, "Fuck it, man. I'm gonna face my fucking fear." So when I did LA, sometimes I didn't do hood rooms, but I'd go in and do some stuff. And finally I just overcame. I said, "Fuck it, man." I overcame that. And then I wasn't bad, but it was like, okay, black crowd, okay. But I tell you what, I was proud of myself is when I opened up for Monique and I didn't change my shit. I kept it. I didn't cater to him. I didn't go, "Yo, what's up?" I came out, "Hey guys." I pretty much was the same way, and it worked. As good
as it could be.
You gotta say it like that.
Hey man, I remember, man. I used to always have to preface you to my other friends, before I took them to a comedy show. Like they go, "Hey man, don't you got a friend to come?" I go, "Yeah." "How come you never invited us to a show?" I go, man, I don't think you would be into it, man. He's not like black comedy,
He ain't black. He's black, but he ain't black.
He ain't black. He ain't like Def Jam. I mean, we can go, but I'm just saying, don't expect a bunch of black jokes. I was perfect. And then I spent the whole show, you on stage up here, and I'm busy looking at them, see if they laughing. Like, God damn it.
Like, how Carlton is on Fresh Prince? Yeah, kind of like that.
Like, this is the dude that at the time was my best friend. I'm hyping up. I spent all my time with, and then I'm bringing other friends that are more hood and shit like that, and I'm bringing them to a show, and they're like, "This motherfucker corny as food."
I know, man, but you know what?
But for whatever reason, I dug your shit, man.
Man, but you know what though? And here's the thing, and it's like looking back on it now, it's weird. I can look back on it now. It's like, and sometimes, and I'll say this, man, we didn't give like those audiences or all black audiences enough credit. I mean, you still have to be fun. I mean, you don't have to be all like Martin or all the way out there with energy, but it's got to be well-constructed joke. It still has to be funny. And I think that's why I thought you had to come out there and say motherfucker all the time and talk about fucking all. No, you just have to be, first of all, you can't show fear. I mean, black audience they're like sharks, man. They smell that shit and they will jump on you. You got to go up there, be confident who you are. And I think, and Vince and working with Sella taught me that is, hey man, tell them who you are up front. That way they can't say, "Man, this shit's corny." If you come on and say, "Hey man, I never was a hood dude." And I think even Kevin Hart did that. That's why I always loved Kevin Hart, because Kevin Hart, he's not really a hood comic, but I mean, he gets some, and especially in the beginning, had more predominantly black audiences, but he never really was a hood comic. But even he said on one of his specials, he goes, "I never was into like the streets." And he goes, "I was in the weird shit like spelling bees." And that was his way of saying, "Hey man, I'm not hood, but," and I was like, why? I wish I was smart enough to do that in the beginning. You know what I mean? Yeah. Tell them who I am up front. Hey man, I never was I was more into Kiss and rock and roll, and then
I kind of think you did, man. I always felt like you did set up because you came out to
Motley Crue. Yeah, but
and you go, "That's why I got kicked out of the ghetto."
See, that worked
so you
for
set
me.
the pref. The whole premise was, I'm black. You could see that I'm black. I don't have to tell you I'm black. I'm black. but
Yeah.
I'm into this other shit.
But it took me a while to get to there because I used to come out to Metallica, give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. And I come out to that and it just end and I go into jokes and be like, I don't get this shit. And, and then finally one day, and I just remember working with John Hinton, and I remember we were in Virginia, and I remember I did that, and it's one of those things. You know me, I used to like to play on stage, you know. So when I ended, I go, and that's why I got kicked out of the ghetto. And the response from that, I go, that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's it. So that way they tell people that, okay, this is who I am, and I think that helped. And I think that's where I got more comfortable with black audiences. You know what I mean? And I always say this. My saving grace for black audiences, if I got out of the material and go into the crowd with them, because I mean I can go improv. You know, like
See, I never liked your improv, man.
Really?
Nah, man.
Really?
I wanted to see your material. As a matter of fact, I remember having a conversation with you, man, because for a lot of years you were straight material,
Yeah.
And then when I went to a show and you didn't do as much material, and I go, hey, man, do you not believe in your material anymore?
I mean, see, but sometimes what I didn't do and I should do, and I've been doing it a little bit, is I should have recorded every show because sometimes, like, I used to have my act so tight that I would, and I'd know where I get the last, and I would stop because I think that was when the check drop came, and I knew that's when I could.
When the what came?
The check drop. You know what I mean? You know, where they drop the checks and people have to start paying their wages.
Oh, yeah.
And they ain't listening. So I knew, my act was so tight, I knew I could stop at this point, fuck with the crowd, and then pick it back up and finish strong. I mean, that's how tight my shit used to be. And I liked it that way. And then, you know, it's like an evolution. Then it got to the point I was like, oh, and this is why I should have recorded, because there was a lot of gems from going into the crowd, or, you know, those laughs you can't redo.
Yeah.
But some of those you can't reduplicate. I mean, that's just in the moment shit. But some of those, if you write it down.
Did you say reduplicate?
Yeah, you know I make words up and shit.
Yeah, you
so I could reduplicate. So you know what I'm trying to say. So
yeah, just
I
say
could
duplicate.
I could duplicate. It's reduplicate,
It's
right?
not reduplicate. Duplicate is already
Tomato,
motherfucker.
motherfucker.
It's not tomato.
It's tomato.
It's not a tomato.
Yes, it is.
Because tomato and tomato are actually words.
Potato.
Those are actual words. Reduplicate.
Man,
it's redundant to say
whatever.
reduplicate.
Okay, man, the show's over. Hey, thank you guys for coming. No.
It's like you're saying to copy.
To recopy. Is that kind of like refried beans?
No.
I'm just... We still got it, brother. I love it whenever, because you pointed it out on the first podcast. Whenever a hot chick passes, it always pauses me.
Without even knowing the setup.
And I hope, you know what I hope? I hope that never leaves me. I used to always say this. Here's what I used to always say. I used to always say, the minute I pass a Hooters or a strip club and I don't get that surge of in me, it's time to go. And I do, but I don't. But I still love to see a hot chick pass, and I don't. And we've never been catcallers, really. Nah. So I like to watch. You know, you know what's one thing I love about that? We've never been. I mean, the things we've done with girls or whatever, and I don't apologize. Hey, that shit was reciprocated. It was, and we never catcalled and like, hey baby, come here, or hey girl. You know, there was that. So it was. That's why I don't feel bad about the past.
You can say what you want. But if the Me Too movement would have happened back in the days,
we would have been done.
We'd have been caught up.
I always say I'm not so much hashtag Me Too. I'm hashtag not yet. You know what I mean? Like if I made it big, if I was on a precipice of making it big, like I was on all the talk shows and I was just gonna make that step, somebody somewhere would find, and it wouldn't be too hard to go digging. You wouldn't even need a miner's helmet. You would just a couple phone calls and be like, I'm done. They go, no.
At the peak of the Me Too movement, true story, I honestly thought somebody from my past is gonna come out, you know, from my business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From Exquisite.
Yeah.
I really thought, hey man, I abused the position of owner. Power. I know I did. Yeah. You know, even though it was all what, as you say, it was reciprocated, whatever. But looking back at it, I'm not gonna say I was wrong, but I'm just gonna say I abused that position.
Yeah.
But hey. Fuck it, man. It is what it is.
It is what it is, and it was man. That's a slippery slope. And
I don't mean fuck it, man, like that. But
I know.
I recognize now.
Yeah,
what happened back then. But you know, I get it, man. When people say those were the times, doesn't excuse it.
It doesn't excuse it. It's almost like,
but you know, it's just like when people say about racing. Well, back in the day, you could call a guy a nigger, and it wasn't a big deal. That's what everybody did. It didn't make it fucking right.
It never
but
was
I
back in the day.
understand it.
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
But hey, you can't do that. You can't say that now, though. Like, clearly after the Me Too movement, I couldn't go. Like, if I owned a company where majority of women work for me, and I said some of the shit that I said back then, clearly I can't go. Yeah, but those were the times. Well, it's not the times now.
It's not the time. You got to deal with what is now, and I mean that's where you always got to stay present. Like older comics, like myself or whatever, we get on stage now. It's like, hey man, some of those older jokes you got to cut them loose because I mean that day is done, and you got to deal with the present, man. You got to write for the present now, but there's also that, and also. And here's what I hate though, and I get it. I get the Me Too movement, and I think it's great. I think it was needed. Good for them. At the same time though, I don't pander. I hate when guys say I'm a feminist. Now get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Now, because me, I was like, you should have always treated people as equals in the get go. But I hate saying, well, I'm a feminist, and I think, fuck off, man. I mean, you should have treated women equally back then anyway. Now, as far as like. Yeah, something. Okay, okay. How about this now? I don't know how long. When's the last time you've been to a strip club?
Actually, not too long ago.
And then do you feel guilty or?
No, I don't feel. No. I think that's a completely different thing.
Okay, well, no, I'm just asking. Some guys. But
no,
man, I hear some comics go, well, I can't even go there now because I feel guilty knowing that these girls are. And I go, no, because you know what? Nobody forces them to do that shit.
Exactly. It's not. They're not like in the. What's it called? This sex slaves. They're not made to do that, man.
On the local level.
On the local level. Yeah, I'm just not buying it. But yeah, but I tell you what, man. I don't dig the strip club. I was there. We went as a group. It was a bunch. We all. One of my buddies' girlfriend.
How come I didn't get the invite?
Well, because you don't hang with that clique of mine.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm not black enough.
Well, no, it's just you know who they are. You know the Nut, the D, T-Bone, all those guys. You don't hang with us, man.
Okay, man. Okay.
I mean, even when I invite you to stuff, think about it. When I invited you, as a matter of fact, because they bring it up all the time. They bring it up when I had a cookout at my house, and all of them came. What I'm gonna call the Fancy Cycle Boys.
Okay.
And I invited you, Sparkman, and Drew. It was so separate. You motherfuckers, you, Spark, and them, y'all sat over here, and everybody else sat in my clique.
But we're also entertainers too, though.
Yeah, but still, man. But y'all didn't intermingle, man, and they bring that shit up all the time.
Well, we didn't do it on purpose.
But it happened. Y'all just didn't vibe with us, man. And I shouldn't say us because y'all were my boys.
Yeah.
I was thinking about standing up too, man.
Yeah, go ahead. It's my podcast. Do what the fuck you want to do.
Well, now that you did it, I might do it.
Well, do it.
These stools are the most uncomfortable fucking things.
So I'm being the follower now?
I'm just saying maybe you should get some more comfortable stools in this bitch.
Hey, talk to Wyatt. He's 19.
It's your show, as you so eloquently put it.
He gonna run out and get some.
Get some goddamn new stools because these motherfuckers are hurting my 53-year-old ass. But nah, man. I just remember it was a separate thing, and I just thought, this kind of sucks, man. I want my boys to all intermingle.
But I didn't know they felt that way because I don't, at least I don't think so. But like I said, this is me critiquing me or me looking at me. So I'm glad you said that. But I don't think I've ever looked at guys like, oh my God, these guys are hood guys. I don't know.
I completely forgot. So it was that clique that we went to the strip club. So we was all coupled up. So it was like 5 couples.
Okay.
Went to the strip club because the girl's birthday, who it was, she wanted to go to the strip club, so her man was like, oh, yeah, baby, let's go. And, my girl, I don't know if she had ever been to a strip club or not. I'm not sure. But anyway, we went, and I was sitting back, and I was just like, man, I don't miss this at all.
But I know.
At all. Remember, we used to be all about some strip clubs,
you know what, though? Looking back, I was, but I was. Like, I never was strip. Not like Marvin. I never was strip club. Like, the funny thing he's ever said, goes, hey, man, I got a problem, man. I go, what is it, Marvin? He goes, man, I'll be driving sometimes, man. I'll pass out. We can put up a strip club, man. And that's it. He's got it down to a T. He knows to sit at a table after some dude is left so they won't hit him up for the drink.
Yeah, it brings his own napkins and shit.
He brings his own napkin to a strip club. And if he spends more than $7 at a strip club, that's big balling for Marvin.
Yeah.
So, but I never really was a strip. Like, don't get me wrong. I've gone. I had a good time. I went in Vegas one time, but I never was a strip club kind of dude. That wasn't my thing though. And so, but I get it. But I was asking just to see how deep into the Me Too you were. I mean, seriously.
When it was going on hot and heavy, I really had some reflections.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I really did. I reflected back on my life and everything that went on, and in my head, I had the revelation in my head of, okay, you recognize what you did, and I honestly thought about making some phone calls
and saying I'm sorry.
Yes, kind of.
Yeah.
I really did. And somebody, I had a conversation with a female friend of mine, and she goes, "Don't do that shit.
Yeah, because you can get a lawsuit.
Don't do that shit." She said,
They could record it.
no, she just said, those girls may have forgot about that or moved on. It wasn't big of a deal. And you may be bringing something back up to them that
Yes.
they go, hey, maybe I can.
True.
And I thought, that's a good fucking point. I'm glad, I always bounce stuff off of female
Right.
friends
Yeah,
of mine.
it's always good. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you get a completely different
Yes.
perspective.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I'm glad I didn't do it. But because over the years, man, some of these girls that you knew most of the girls that work for
I knew all of them girls.
I've gotten messages. I can still show you to this day. I've gotten messages from some of the girls apologizing to me how they treated me. Because some of the girls I was all in for. I looked out for.
Yeah, I know you did.
Financially,
yes, you
mentally,
did.
everything.
And you had that meeting over your house on Sunday to teach them
Yeah.
how to invest and stuff.
Yeah, all that shit. And they just completely, some of them that I felt close to completely fucked me over.
Yeah.
To this day, some of them are still like, I would still cuss them out if I saw them today. Because I felt like, all things considered, I was a pretty decent boss, considering the line of work that we did
Yes,
and all
we
that
did.
shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've gotten messages from at least 3 different girls over the years saying, you know what? I'm really sorry for the way I treated you and the way we ended.
Yes.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And one of the 3 girls I didn't respond to.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
respond to. I just thought, yeah, I'm still shitty behind you.
You know what's fun? I did the same thing with relationships. I mean, like, God, I had so many, and there's no, I was just a dick as far as relationships. It was like out of sight, out of mind. And I'm not gonna lie, man. I've always said I only had like maybe 2 bad girlfriends. You know what I mean?
The girl that cut your buttons off.
Buttons, the fight me and Buttons had, like, that's the only one that and again, hence how me and you think, man, I ain't gonna put my hand on a woman, whatever. I remember you had a fight with Christian who could have held her own, and all you did was hold her hands from hitting you. You know what I mean? So I just remember me and Buttons got in a knockdown drag out at this hotel in Michigan to where she stormed out, and then she knocked on the door, and as soon as I opened the door, this shoe is coming down over my head, and oh shit, it's on. Luckily, we were at one of them hotels that wouldn't have been no big deal. It's like, another typical Friday night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it was like, even if they heard a gunshot, they go, no big deal. Continental breakfast, 8:00, cold biscuits, So like we fought, and I just remember going, God damn it, listen to me. And I just remember holding her down like that and holding her wrist, going, God damn it. And I never had that kind of rage before in my life, but I finally went there. And I've called pretty much all the girls who I did wrong. And don't get me wrong, I did Buttons wrong. But I think Buttons was doing some other shit too, and she ain't gonna admit it because I was in a ditch in North Dakota. It was in a snowstorm. And I fell off a ditch. We were supposed to be boyfriend and girlfriend, and I went off a ditch in North Dakota. I was down a ravine, and a trucker stopped. Hey, buddy, you okay? Yeah, call for help. You know what I mean? Seriously, I was doing that shit, and so I remember. I called her. You call your girlfriend times like that. I go, hey, what's going on? And she said, hey, I'm watching a movie. Okay. And I got company. I said, okay. Yeah, like she was with some dude, like her ex or some shit. So, what am I supposed, you know what I mean? So I was like,
Maybe you should have hit that bitch.
But
no, I'm just kidding.
But I did get off the phone with her.
Touching me.
But I did get off the phone with her and told this other girl I knew and go, hey, I'm in the ditch. Oh my God, do you need anything? I'm like, really? So don't get me wrong. But I did call every girl that I felt I did her wrong, and I apologized to them, and that made me feel good. And you know what? They all
That's
did.
one of the 12 steps of alcoholism.
Well, I just felt like I needed to cleanse myself because, like I said, I don't do drugs. My one thing was, hey man, I just like women. I mean, and it's not like it's no. I'm not trying to justify what I did. It was wrong. So I called him up and go, hey, I'm so sorry I treated you like shit. You were great to me, and 9 times out of 10, I'm like, well, and they just like, I was like, God damn it, let me apologize. You know what I mean? It's like, but they were cool. Like, oh my God, like Sam and Ron. I mean, like they were just the fucking best. They were like, I understand, and it felt good to get that off my conscience or my soul.
I mean, we're talking about some stuff right now that could be a much longer conversation.
It could be.
I mean, seriously. But I kind of glanced at my watch and I knew we could. I thought
how come we can't?
Because it's
So?
Aren't we limited to an hour?
Well, I mean, I'll talk to Wyatt. He'll edit.
No,
he'll get his blue blockers on.
I just think it's a much larger conversation. It's 2 different conversations that I think could be
a whole podcast within itself.
Is the relationship between me and you, and it would be a total bitch out conversation. Not bitch out, but it would be, we would come off like a couple of bitches. I know I would.
I know. I'm always.
I would come off like a little bitch because I've never wanted to have this conversation with you, and I've always avoided it.
What?
I'm not gonna have it.
No, get it out. No, get it out. No, that's what this is for, man.
No,
No.
but no, because I don't feel like we can go as deep as we. If look, honestly, and I'm not trying to get back on. I appreciate you. If you ever invite me back on, we'll go there.
Well, okay, well, you will.
Okay,
we'll
go
do this
there
again. We're gonna do this again.
And then there's another conversation about. I think we could have a conversation about.
Spit it out.
Relationships.
Oh my God, yes.
Relationships, female
Yes.
relationships, the girls that you've been involved with, the girls I've been involved with. And I think that would just be interesting.
Yeah. Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I
yes.
mean? So,
But
yeah.
we also have to look at that in the parameters of where we were then and as opposed to where we are now. And I mean, honestly, and it's like I said, it's no. I'm not trying to justify it, but it just is, and everything. And honestly, if I looking back now, I probably never should have been in a relationship at all until like probably now. And now I know I'd be a good boyfriend.
I mean, I look at you, man. Truly, I still. My girl and I, we had this conversation recently about you. Like, how is he single? Like, how does he want to stay single?
Well, it's easy.
I
in
can't
Indianapolis.
imagine, man.
In Indianapolis,
No,
it's
fuck that.
easy.
No, it's not, man.
Yes, it is.
I could not imagine not having a girlfriend for as long as you've not had a girlfriend.
But now it's even worse now because now if I see somebody, I mean, I'm still, and I'm just gonna be honest with it, I'm even more of a like guarded emotionally kind of. So I'm even more of a kind of but I look at it like this now, where I used to be young, hit it, quit it, boom, maybe try to keep in touch. But I also remember fucking wasting time. I remember flying into fucking Idaho to this chick I was in love with. That's the only time I took a trip exclusively to see a girl, and I was into her, and she was fucking seeing some dude, and I was supposed to stay with her, but I ended up, I think, sleeping on the couch while she talked to him on the phone in her bedroom. Yeah, and I just remember going, man, this fucking sucks. And so I remember all the wasted time and money on chicks I tried to be into, trying to do comedy also, and going, fuck it. So now I look at it like, okay, if I do hit, how do I get out of it? And like,
When are you saying when you hit, like when you fuck?
No, I'm looking at it now like, okay, if this chick seems kind of okay, cool. Now, how do I hit and like
Again,
avoid a relationship?
I just want to be clear what you're meaning.
Yeah, I know, but avoid a relationship and kind of blow her off in a way. But but trying to keep it cool, kind of like, hey, this is not going to be a relationship.
How at 50-something years old, 50, what are you, 52?
At 52 in 2 weeks.
Okay, 50. Yeah, that's right. It's coming up.
Yeah, you can say that.
How do you not know how to navigate that at this point in your life, considering all the relationships we've been in?
Because
how come you can't just come straight out, man, and just be like, look,
well, I am in a
the
little
girl
bit.
I'm with right now, and I'm gonna say this, babe, and I hope when you see this, I hope you don't get mad at me. But look, I was messing around with a girl when I met her.
Yeah, I know.
And she said, don't you got a girlfriend? I was like, no, I got somebody I mess around with.
Yeah.
I just want to mess around with you.
But it was, yeah.
I said, but I don't want anything serious with you. I
Right.
just want to mess around. And she was like, cool, that's good. She was down for the same shit. You know what I mean? Now, I said this to her the other day. I think she had a plan in her head that like, once I'm in, I'm going to get him. Now, and I think most girls
Yeah.
think that.
Yes, because
I think most girls
all you
think that.
gotta do is act cool, like, oh no, do your
But
thing.
you know what? Hey, she and I talk about this all the time. Timing.
Timing in life is everything.
10 years ago, she wouldn't have got me.
Yeah, we talk about that.
She wouldn't have got me. 10, 15
Because
years ago.
you were a different person.
She wouldn't have got me. But now, very shortly after we started messing around, the other girl went away. The other girl was looking for, she's married now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she was clearly looking for something.
Right.
A more stable relationship, which I had already told her I wasn't trying to do.
Right.
So my girl waited out. We stuck it out. And again, I didn't necessarily see it coming, but when it came, I let it in.
I
let it in.
Good for you.
And
Good for
honestly,
you.
man, and I'm not just
I mean
saying
that.
this.
Good for you.
I don't, and I'm saying this because I don't know if she'll ever see this. Best decision I've ever made.
Man, I'm good for you. Man, I don't.
Best decision. But I want that for you. I do, man. I want that for you, especially when I consider how good of a girl she is. She's a great woman. Is it over?
No, keep going.
She has a great, she has an understanding. When I first met her, I was still riding my motorcycle. I had motorcycles,
Right.
and I was still hanging out late. Me and my boys, we would ride, and we'd go out, and sometimes we'd be out to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Having
We
fun.
wasn't fucking chicks or nothing, man. We were
Having
just
fun.
hanging out.
Like Kevin Hart said, me play ping pong.
And I told her that. I said, hey, I still want to hang out. We used to hang out at the motorcycle shop all hours of the day,
Right.
2 or 3 days, sometimes 4 days a week. I said, hey, I want to still be able to do that. I'm not going to fucking feel like I got to come home. But she said, cool. And at the time, I thought, yeah, she's just saying this. But she meant that shit.
Yeah.
She didn't ever give me shit. There were times when I was hanging out, man, I go, maybe I should check in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or maybe I should go home. You know, and I would come home. She goes, what are you doing home? I go, I kind of felt like, she goes, babe, I'm really not tripping. She goes, I like my time too.
Oh, that's.
She was like, hey, I like it when your ass ain't here too.
That's.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
And today, hey man, best decision I ever made, man. She's the best girl I've ever been with. I hope it never ends. I hope we've been together almost 4 years.
Don't think that way.
We've not had any arguments or anything like that.
It's good.
You know what I mean?
That's what you shouldn't. I mean,
we've been on the same page for the most part, man, and I hope it continues. And I call her my wife because we live together. It's the same shit. I mean, the only difference is she don't have a ring.
Here's the way I feel about it. And knowing you how I know you, the only time I've ever seen you like just angry, and all the 30 years, 35 that I've known you, ever seen you angry, like lose your shit. You're the calmest motherfucker. You're the kind of guy that could be going 80 miles an hour, and all of a sudden a snowstorm hits and you hit black ice and there's a cliff and you're about to go. We go, well, let me put ABS on and I'll just let me look where I'm going, and I think we'll be fine. The only time I've ever seen you, and you know where I'm going with this, is baby's mama. And that's the only time. So you've always been a calm dude. Now, and I always say this, and I'm talking out of my ass here, but the older you get, man, I think past the age of 35, maybe 40, you shouldn't have a knockdown drag out with you. It should be kind of, amicable. Mm-hmm. Like, sweetie, why did you wash your dishes? I mean, it shouldn't be like, you know what? I'm sick. To me, that's 20-year-old shit where you blow up. So I can see that now. I mean, now I'm so fucking happy for you now. When I go over there now, and man, I just hang. I go, man, I'm so happy for my boy. I felt last week when we watched the UFC fights together, and I left and I felt so bad when you told me how bad your back was. Man, I honestly, I was in my helmet and I was almost crying because I go, fuck, man, that's my dude. And, we've been ups and downs, whatever. Like I said, we always have each other's back, but we had, our little ups and downs. But, man, I was in my helmet riding home going, fuck, man, I hope he feels better. I felt so bad for you. And I really did. But I was happy at the same time because I go, man, I'm glad you found somebody. Now, me, on the other hand, you say that, but me, I don't know if I can let somebody in. I don't, and I did one on my podcast, and I touched on the surface of this, and I said it all stems from when I was a kid. Me and my brother had the same piggy bank for Christmas, okay? And so he was a kid. I mean, he was a little bit, and so he broke his, and my parents gave me the one he broke and gave him the other one. And ever since then, I think it fucked me up because I thought, well, I'll never be good enough. I always see that. So I know me, and I know I was better in increments. That's why I was always been a hit it, quit it kind of dude. Like if you meet me for one night in town, whatever, I'm the best. I'll make you laugh. We'll have a good meal. We'll have great sex, and then it's like, hey, see you later. You're like, oh my God, PT, what a great time. But on the everyday grind to get up every day. I don't know if I could do that, man. And I don't want.
But you just got to find somebody that's
but I don't know if
similar interests, man.
But it's me. But I don't know if I can let that guard down and be like, all right, come in. This is me. This is who I am. Come into my life and let's fucking, let's try to work something out together. I don't know. And now I'm at the stage now where this is what I love now and thinking about other things to do because I don't want to drive Uber when I'm 70 or 65. Because now, you know what I mean? I'm at the back end. If I was a basketball player, I'd be one of those dudes that when they call me to go in, I got to get on the bicycle for like 10 minutes and then like take my sweats off and then go in.
You know what you should seriously, for everything you got going on, you do all this stuff where you take care of your body, and you do yoga, you ride body, you do everything to take care of your exterior.
Right.
You need to do some
interior.
Yeah, no, you need some
drywall.
You need some therapy, man.
Well, this is my therapy. Talking this out right now. I know. Is a therapy because otherwise it'd be in my head, man.
Yeah, I got you, and that's great.
That's why I punch people out at Starbucks, man.
That's great. That's great. But you also need somebody that's trained. And can give you some feedback to guide these thoughts.
Yeah, that's true.
And don't get me wrong, this is it's therapeutic.
This is great.
You know what I mean?
Cathartic.
I like that.
Thank you.
I don't want to lose this thought real quick.
Okay.
But I think you should do that. Also, talking about this, man, I'm happy as shit for you, man. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
When I did see your podcast that I stumbled up on because you didn't tell me about it.
Man, my bad. I thought you knew.
And I thought, man, because, for a long time, man, I've been wanting to do
and we can talk to Wyatt after this for you.
Yeah.
I mean it.
Yeah, no, seriously, I think we should.
No, I mean it.
Because I've been wanting to do this, man, and seeing you do it, it's ignited, a flame, if you will. and I said, man, I'm really proud of my boy. I've always thought you should be doing something where you talk because you talk a fucking lot anyway.
And that's why I do minute reviews,
Which you stole from me.
I did. We'll talk about that later. But that's why I do minute reviews because I think a minute of me is about as enough people can stand. Okay, I can deal with a minute of him.
I used to always say, not you so much, but with Corey, I used to say I could take Corey in small doses. But yeah, man, I think this is one to do because I got a lot of thoughts too, and I don't know that I would call it. Maybe it would end up being therapeutic for me, but
cathartic for you.
Cathartic, but I've got at least 2 different ideas.
Okay.
For different podcast type shows that I want to do, man. So
okay, I want to do a part 2 with you. You want to do it next week? Can you do it next week?
Let me check my palm. Hey, seriously, man, I think I could, man. Yeah, because
let's do part 2 because I want to get a list of other guests that I want to because I like talking to people. I really like the interview aspect of it. I mean, I did it alone and I liked it, but this was harder than I thought. At first, I was on my bike riding from Oklahoma to here back on my bike, going, "Yeah, I'm gonna get Ron, man," and then starting yesterday and last night, I was thinking, this may be a little harder than I think because we know so much about then but I was like, man, you know what? Let's just let it flow.
Man, honestly, I think it was easy. I pontificated about this.
Oh, look at you looking at a thesaurus.
Yeah. But I really thought, man, what are we gonna do? Is he gonna have an outline? Is he gonna have this? Is he gonna have that? But just talking like this, honestly, I don't know, man. If we had some certain topics that we were going to talk on, that probably
I did. I had them right here, but
and we didn't touch on any of them.
We start going. I mean, we start going, and I didn't want to stop that. You never want to stop momentum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I felt so.
Well, hey, man, I'm down for doing a part 2, man.
We're gonna do part 2 next week. I got to wrap it up because I'm getting, why?
No, you're getting the light.
Yeah, I'm getting the light. That is always gonna blow the light. But man,
I just want to say thanks, man. I appreciate you inviting me on, man. I humbly accept coming in for part 2. I appreciate that, bro. And man, keep doing what you're doing, man. And I'm proud of you, brother.
Thank you, man. And honestly, the praise from you, honestly, is like when you said it last week. 2 things, man, that made me go, wow. It's like you said something about my stand-up, like, yeah, I used to love to watch you do stand-up. I go, wow. And I was expecting a joke after that because it was a text, and I was like, wow. And then when you said that about the podcast, I go, fucking A, man. That shit just got me. I don't know about you, man. The older I get, the shit hit me in the feels a little bit different.
I mean, I think enough people don't tell their buddies
that they love them,
and how they really feel about what their accomplishments.
Yes,
because they don't want to seem soft or man, some corny. Man, fuck that, man. Give your people flowers while they're alive,
man.
And I have no problem telling you, you're my boy.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna say this: I've got some feelings about our friendship.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, I still love you.
Yeah,
you're still my boy, and
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It is. Hey, I feel the same way. I'm choked up right now thinking about this. I mean, honestly, man.
Yeah, well,
so
log off so you look like a crybaby shit.
Hey, this is BT Tales from the Gemini with my buddy, my best friend Ron with 2 N's Davis, and we're gonna come back with next week with part 2, and we'll see if we can
Looking
get into
forward to
part
it,
2.
brother.
Me
Looking
too.
forward to it.
All right, until then, you know the word. Burn.